Welcome to The Fix. Sit down with copywriting experts Nick O'Connor and Glenn Fisher as they review, discuss, and improve real-world copy sent in by you. This is The Fix.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Fix. Lots and lots and lots of people, when they're starting out in the industry, write on spec. That is, they write something speculatively that they're not being paid for, almost as a sort of calling card for their services, and they send that off to a publisher or an agency or whoever their potential client might be as a way of generating business. The piece of copy we're going to look at today is one such piece of on-spec copy. Glenn?
Yes?
Would you read it aloud?
I will read it aloud. Let me do that for you. It starts with an options of subject lines. I'll read all three. We've got option A is the Great Chinese Invasion. Option B is China's ruthless plan to world domination. And option C is a stealth attack that could drop America to its knees. And the email reads, Dear reader, China just demonstrated to the world how dangerously close they are to monopolizing the most important technology on Earth. This resource is so crucial to our lives, almost every product you have in your home is made out of it, including your television, smartphone, cars, trucks, even your internet. According to Bloomberg, once China gets hold of this technology, it is over for the rest of us. Many unprepared investors will be completely destroyed. Your savings and investments vanished before your eyes faster than you can blink. Fortunately, there's a way to protect yourselves from this chaos. Even double your money in the process, but you have to act fast. Full details here. And I'll stop there. Nicholas Witchell, Royal Correspondent.
I would be a bloody good.
You'd be a terrible Royal Correspondent. You'd be...
extremely memorable.
Yeah, extremely memorable.
Yeah.
I've got a few things myself on that from the rhythm side. But let's start with the subject lines.
Yeah, so let's talk about the copy, and then I want to move us to just talking about strategies for writing on spec.
Yeah.
I'll break the conversation up into two, because I see people write on spec a lot, and people make the same sort of mistakes, and there's a few little things you can do to give yourself a better chance. So let's just look at the copy first, then we'll think about that. Okay, so of those three subject lines, the third is the one that I think was probably most interesting. Assuming this is for an American audience, a stealth attack that could drop America to its knees. That's an interesting starting point. It's probably the strongest one. The reason I don't like the other ones is the Great Chinese Invasion. No American's going to believe that China is going to invade America, so it doesn't pass the smell test. I can't feel something about something that I don't believe. China's ruthless path to world domination. Do I care about if I'm an American?
Amy, isn't it? I think most people are saying that. Whereas the stealth attack has a little bit of secrecy to it.
But a stealth attack, okay, that's interesting. America has been attacked. On the two occasions that America has been attacked, and I'm talking about Pearl Harbor and 9/11, they were both stealth attacks, sort of sneak attacks that people weren't expecting. So I think that's a more interesting place to start.
I think we should do an entire episode on subject lines. I spoke about this the other day, actually, when we were talking. But for this, I would just say the one takeaway for subject lines to remember, it's all about intrigue. You've got to intrigue your reader for a reason to open up and read that. If that's one takeaway, that will serve you well. The Chinese invasion, ruthless plan, none of them. I'm not interested. There's no intrigue there. But a stealth attack, okay, there's a bit of intrigue. I'm going there. So just think about that when it comes to subject lines.
However, if we're going to pick that as our subject line, that is now our idea.
Yes.
We have to dial everything in to that idea, whichever one we pick. And currently, the copy doesn't quite do that, because if you just read the first line in the context of this stealth attack on America, the copy begins, China just demonstrated to the world how dangerously close they are to monopolizing the most important technology on earth. So it's about China demonstrating something to the world. I don't know who that would actually mean. How close they are to monopolizing technology. Okay, that isn't quite what the subject line sort of promised me. And then we go on. This resource is so now it's this resource. Is it a resource or is it a technology? This resource is so crucial to our lives. Almost every product you have in your home is made out of it, including your television, smartphone, cars, trucks, and even your internet. Just think about how far we've come in sort of 4 lines, if you include the subject line. We've gone from stealth attack to China to monopolization to technology to resources to my home, television, smartphones, even the internet. That is a big jump. And what we really need to do with something like this is, to describe it in a sort of bad technical way, we need to golden thread it. Everything needs to be filtered through the idea of that subject line. Or we need to re-subject line it and make it about technology or make it about a resource or whatever. As things stand, there's lots of interesting ideas here that are worthy of development and could stand alone as their own piece. But as we say again and again and again, putting more, layering in more ideas never, ever enhances the copy. It only ever subtracts, because each idea competes with the one that preceded it rather than building upon it. So we have some decisions to make. I'd actually just go back to that subject line and say, okay, it's about a sneak attack. America, a dear friend, America is about to be attacked, not by a military, not by this, not by X, Y, or Z, but using a technology that almost nobody understands yet. So you could bring technology in, but in that context, you've got to golden thread it into that idea. It's just about narrowing dialing your idea.
It's in it. That opens the path to, it's in everything, in your television, your smartphone. I'd just be aware and read things with fresh eyes. Everything in your home is made out of it. Cars and trucks, last time I looked, they were not in my home. And I know it's a small detail, but it's just one of those things where it's like, it just feels fast and furious and sloppy. You want to get a really tight idea, tight copy, things like that. They shout out at me that it's a bit silly. It's a bit like, there's cars and trucks. What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense to me, kind of thing. So just be aware of that. And also, I've got to say on that, in that flow of that email, and maybe we'll cover this in when you talk about specking us, but just the flow of the email, there's clearly lines where it's trying to create crescendos of blink and many of them can be destroyed, and all these big notes that the language that you're using in your copy are big words, and it wants to fully feel the hit of that word, but the rhythm here is out. There's lines that it stops and then it starts again and quickly up and just flow through an email. You haven't got long. It's like 10, 12 lines. It wants to be one flowing piece of copy. And if you're going to use a big word like completely destroyed, which is a little bit far-fetched and a little bit unrealistic, I think investors mostly don't think they're going to be completely destroyed by any event, but they can take a real hit. They can think, but speaking investor language, often when we try and make things sound more impactful and emotional, we go to that easy hyperbolic language of completely destroyed, vanish before your eyes, fashion you can blink and all this kind of stuff. It hams it up too much. You can maybe have one little piece of ham in each email, but too much, you're here with a problem. That is a official Glen rule: one piece of ham per
one slice of ham per copy sandwich.
Yeah, unless it's Billy Bear ham, which anybody outside the UK won't understand what I'm talking about. Is ham with the face of bear. You can have 2 slices of that.
2 slices of that because it's the meat content is that much lower. Yeah. Right. So if I'm working with this copyright, what am I going to say to them? I'm just going to give them a really simple piece of advice, which is commit to your idea. You're identifying interesting things. So that subject line, a sneak attack on America. By the way, I'm trying to second guess what this idea is, because at first it's talk about technology, so I'm thinking AI. Then this resource is crucial to so many things. I'm thinking rare earths. So there's they're all valid ideas. But if it's about a sneak attack, riff on that. Okay, right. What are we gonna do? Sneak attack. America's under attack. 4-minute warning. When has it been attacked in the past? It's been America is different. America has been attacked twice in our republic's history, or on 2 occasions in our republic's history. There has been a sneak attack on the American people. The first time, it was Pearl Harbor. Second time was 9/11. On both occasions, people panicked. Money flooded out of the stock market so we can bring stocks, and people lost a lot of money as a result. I'm here to tell you that the third attack on the American people is about the third sneak or stealth, whatever it was. Sneak is maybe more emotional, whatever. Stealth, whatever it was.
Stealth is financial.
Yeah, okay.
Sneak feels a little bit like that Adam Sandler film where
Fine, yeah.
waiter is.
But I'm just riffing on the. Can you see how we can make decisions within the context of idea? We say sneak, stealth, covert, secret, whatever. We can work within. There's lots of scope there. But I'm going to keep it tight around that. And then I'm going to say, okay, the third attack is here. So that's like a historical thing. If I want to do that a different way, I can say, okay, where is this attack being planned from? So then I'm thinking, well, where was 9/11 planned from? It was planned from camps in Afghanistan. So can I take an aerial shot of some location in, well, I assume it's China based on the copy. I mean, God knows what this idea actually is, but if that's what we got to work with, here, take a look at this shot, make it look like an aerial drone shot. From this location, a covert part of the Chinese government is planning an attack against America. Okay, that's a different execution of the same subject line. So you have to commit to that one idea and just remember that that's what we value. And let's just shift this into, from a publisher's point of view, that's what we value as copywriters, as copy chiefs, as publishers. We want people who can come up with ideas and then stick to them. Those are the 2 key things. Those are the skills that if you can show you have, a copy chief may well take a chance on you and be interested in working with you, because those, we're the ideas people. People turn to us when they need an idea. The room goes quiet when you need an idea, and everybody looks around and says, what are we going to do? And the copywriter's come up with the answer. So this copywriter can come up with ideas, clearly. There's plenty there. What I'm not necessarily seeing is, can they stick to those ideas, and can they let each idea just grow that bit enough? Senses, isn't it? Let that idea breathe.
It's not all about, perhaps, I think the writer here can, clearly. I think it's a discipline situation almost. And I mean that in a respectful way, but yeah. I think it's being able to evidence, and we're talking about spec emailing, showing that you can do this stuff. You have the ideas. Can you manage the ideas? Can you identify the ideas? Can you say, right, okay, you need ideas? Here's one. We do one about China. We do one about stealth attack. We do one about a resource stats thing. We do one about tech in your home. We do one about that's 5 emails. Even if you wrote a pitch for 5 emails and not the email itself, I imagine I'd receive that and go, oh God, this person's thinking about the different ways that ideas can be used. You can then turn up and go, for example, here's how I'd write the email for that particular idea.
You do, yes, and write up one. Yeah.
Write up one, yeah. So, but we are ideas people, and you said it there yourself, Nick. I wrote a theme tune for an old podcast I used to do, because copywriting isn't about writing, it is about ideas ultimately. And what we're seeing here is all the ideas are there. We can see it because we understand. But if someone was looking at this from a publisher's point of view, or head of marketing or whatever, who might not understand this copywriter might not give you the benefit of the doubt, will just go, this seems muddled. But if you can separate it out and go, right, I've got this idea, and this idea, that's really strong evidence that you know what you're doing.
that is a good pitch. So it's about selecting and amplifying. So there's probably, I mean, I came up with 2 different ways of doing one of the subject lines, and that's removing all the rest of the copy. So there was probably, if this was me, I think I'd pitch 3 to 5, because I think you want to demonstrate the fact that you are an idea-rich person. Because think about who you're writing to, okay? Publisher or a copy chief. It is their job to write email copy, come up with hooks, new leads, whatever, for ideas, different packages they've got out there in the market all day. That's basically all they do. That's the only fun part of their job. The rest is just meetings. That makes it sound less good than it is. But if you can demonstrate to them that you have the capacity to take on some of that work, to be, okay, do you want 10 different lift notes that showcase the different parts of this? That takes a burden off that person's shoulders. Because let me tell you, I've been in this role, both as a publisher and as a head of copy, and working with other people who do that job. It is exhausting. I almost swore then. It is really, really tiring to do it day in, day out. And the people that can help you do that, come up with ideas and come up with hooks and eventually turn those into full promotions, not just lift notes. That's the next step. The people who can do that are worth their weight in gold, because you're in a situation where people turn to you looking for hooks, looking for lift note copy, looking for emails, looking for new ideas all the time. And you need help. You can never find enough people who can do that. So if you're pitching like this, you're trying to show them that you can help them out by coming up with all those ideas. And this was a great example of like half of that work having been done. All the ideas are there. You then just need to break them apart, show me 5 nicely developed, just one simple idea. It only has to be 8 to 10 lines long. It's not going to take you that long. I mean, if I'm writing lift notes, I'm going to try and do like 10 in a morning, or a couple of hours, say, you're going to churn through them. That is a strong pitch, but that's what they're looking for. They're not necessarily going to be interested in, here's one lift note with a ton of ideas, because then what you're asking them to do is identify them all and tell you what they all are, and then ask you to go and write them again. They don't want to do that because that's more work for them, the copy chief or publisher. They want you to do that. So it's like we've got 50% of the way there. The next 50%, the next half, is breaking them apart, amplifying them. And it's not even that much work because all the ideas are there. You've done the hard bit. Now it's just blowing them up. Select and amplify. Pitch like that, and more often than not, I mean, I speak to copy chiefs here in the States, in Australia, all the time. Everybody has the same problem. You never have enough ideas, you never have enough writers, you never have enough hooks, and you can never have enough. So if you can solve that problem for people, if you can show that you can solve that problem for people, that's a good pitch. But you just got to do a little bit more work, I think, would be my advice.
I think both in the copy and in the idea of pitching and evidencing your ability as a copywriter, I'm going to go on a limb, but my gut feeling would be there's too much overwriting in all of this stuff. People are writing copy when they should be writing ideas. And I think a shorter little email or 3 short, like 200-word emails around 3 different ideas would work better for pitching, but also probably out into the market. All those 5 or 10 lines of pure hyperbolic copy, no one's reading that. They're not, it's just nonsense. A really good, intriguing idea that you've identified, amplified, that you just riff on and go, that's really interesting. That's going to work better. So both in terms of just a general rule, because I'm seeing it so much in so much copy that I get to my email file that I have, like a swipe email where it's just junk gets sent constantly in stuff I'm doing for clients and in work we see on the fix. So much of it is just like 50% copy and then 50% the idea. Just get rid of the copy. Just write the idea well, and you will get better results with the copy itself. But you will get seen by the right people. People will understand and see through that what you're trying to do.
And a sort of final point is just to remember, just again, think of it from the copy chief's point of view. So those copy lines that we identified, you could lose all your money in the blink of an eye or whatever. The lines that go a bit too far. you can add some of that stuff in. A copy chief can read something that's very idea rich and say it needs just a bit more promise, or, you need to be more explicit that you're going to lose a ton of money. That is a 5-second edit for them to say, do you know what? It just needs one more line that makes the threat more plain. And then, you put one line of copy in. I mean, you still want to write it like a copywriter, but you put that blunt line in. So the copy chief's thinking, we can add that in. That's easy. We can't sprinkle an idea into something that's just a bag of claims. That doesn't work like that. Again, that's exhausting to do, because I then have to think of an idea and say, well, you've got a really cool promise about making 500%, but there's no real idea here. Now I have to backfill it with an idea. No. The other way around, fine. Let them push you a little bit more. So, we can add that in. We can teach you all that. We're happy. I'm speaking for all copy chiefs now. We're happy to teach you that bit, help you do that bit, even add that bit in as a line edit. We cannot.
No.
We cannot, but the idea part we can't do. We did it and we were right to do it. We can't. So one side of the equation, we're sort of happy to add things and just push you a bit further. The other side, we just can't. Don't work like that. So ideas is always going to be the thing that opens the door. And if you didn't get the promise quite right, it's on-spec copy. The person reading it understands the dynamics of the deal we were trying to do with them, which is like, well, you would help me out a bit, wouldn't you? Like, yeah, these are great ideas. We can tidy them up really easily. They'll be out. So don't worry too much about that. No one's really looking at the wording of the promise. They're thinking, can this person identify an idea and then tell it in a compelling way? That's it. That's all.
To get noticed, this is the killer line. If you want to get noticed, write ideas, not copy.
Yeah.
Let's stick by that.
Sign off
on that hill.
That is a good piece of advice, and it's very, very true. And we'll no doubt come back to it again. Next time, I believe, will be our 50th episode of The Fix, which I
technically this will be the 50th episode.
No, it can't be. It can't be. I wanted to wear a hat.
This will have to be 49A, possibly.
Yeah, that's fine. This is 49A. 50, maybe we'll do everything we've learned in 50 episodes of The Fix, and maybe every 50 when we get to raise our bar. And
the things we've got planned. Things we've learned, like how to count on that particular day. We haven't, for instance, learned to finish an episode in a really timely fashion. We tend to let it do this. We started well.
We start well. And if anyone's still watching, then, that's not our problem. Right, let's wrap things up there, and we'll come back to this idea again in a future episode. But thank you very much for the person who sent that piece of copy in. It was great reviewing it. Hope that was useful. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and we will see you again next week for another episode of The Fix. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
If you enjoy The Fix and want to get access to even more good stuff, join the Fix Accelerator today. Get access to special masterclasses from Nick and me, watch expert interviews with industry legends, join live copy feedback sessions every week, and get connected to our very own private copy network. Visit thefixaccelerator.com for more information.